I never want to hear Dana White say again, the best fight the best in this business. He's completely gone left from that approach. And what we're seeing now is a circus. What is going on, Fight Feeders? Welcome back to Fight Feed. So we had an interesting Thanksgiving this year. Some news is dropped similar to what we've become accustomed to. I think Dana White goes on IG Live or one of the lives and just drops some big bombs on all of us. And what I find hilarious about this, now, a lot of people haven't watched my recent videos. I think it was poor posting time, probably just not, maybe not what people have been looking for. But if you guys happen to see what I dropped, like right before on the Thanksgiving morning, I dropped a video where I said, it's Paddy's turn or Paddy's chance to prove us all wrong or prove to us that he is that guy. And I said that the UFC should put Paddy Pimblett in there against Benoit Saint Denis, because I think that Benoit Saint Denis is a unique challenge, right? He's a bit younger. He's got a very solid grappling and striking skill set that I think would be matched, or honestly, at this point, it's hard to say who's better in each of those categories. I think it's one of those fights where you just kind of have to see it to believe it, right? But what happens is Dana White comes out and says that, you know what, Ilya's going to wait until whenever because of shit's going on. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight belt. And guys, I don't even know what to fucking say. I really don't know what to say. It does feel like we're watching a circus. It feels like it's like whoever is the most popular gets pigeonholed into a title shot. I don't even know if that's the right way to put it, but I will say Gaethje's done a lot for the UFC, and I love Gaethje as much as the next guy, okay? Gaethje's one of my favorite fighters. I do think as fans, at some point, although we become, there's fan favorite fighters, there's fighters we all love, I do think at some point, if you're a true hardcore fan of the sport, the rankings have to mean something. They have to mean something. Because if they don't, why are there rankings? Why is Arman Tsarukyan number one? And now even though, Arman's had his shit with the UFC guys, I was there at UFC 300 when he punched a fan in the face. Like a lot of people, we all saw it on the fucking Jumbotron. And we're all like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? Then he misses the weight, which, is look, I've gone back and forth with people, and people have consistently said, oh, he didn't miss weight, he hurt his back. If the UFC is still saying he missed weight, what it tells me is that, like, they must have some type of knowledge from the UFC doctor that said, like, he could have made weight, he just chose not to, right? I don't know for sure. And Arman continuously says it was a back thing, but it's just like, there's not a lot of evidence to support that. So regardless, Arman still went out there and he went and proved his spot, albeit it was against Dan Hooker, but Arman's already got wins, several ranked wins over really good guys. Like Arman went out there and starched out Beneil, and he was kind of the first one, if I remember correctly, to really starch Beneil out the way he did. And obviously, I think things fell into place, outside of, obviously, I know when Beneil welcomed Alexander Hernandez, he also got starched out there. But what I'm saying is, like, in recent times, Arman got a huge KO win over him, got a win over Oliveira, which I think is a bit contested, but nonetheless, he got the win. And then he beats Dan Hooker, and somehow Paddy Pimblett, who if you guys watched my videos last week, I had quite a bit to say about Paddy being number 10 and then promoted to number 5 off of fighting nobody. And now Paddy is getting a title shot off of one ranked win. And this is actually even worse. If you want to look at, like, historically speaking, this is even worse than what we saw with Sean O'Malley. Like, Sean O'Malley only had 2 ranked wins. People forget he did beat Raulian Paiva, who was number 15, and then he beat Petr Yan. So, and that was contested too, but at least even Sean O'Malley had 2 ranked wins before he got a title shot. Now, when I look at this fight, I want Gaethje to win with every fiber of my being, but I do feel like, guys, even though I'm a big Gaethje fan, I just think that the odds and the cards are stacked a bit against him here. Paddy's younger. He's bigger. I think that, I think Paddy's bigger. Like, Justin might be a little taller, but I think Paddy is going to have a lot more size. And I think Paddy is going to just utilize what he does with his grappling, and I think he's likely to catch Justin in some type of submission, and probably going to get a submission win. But I would love to see a Justin Gaethje go out there and show Paddy, the youngster, little tricks of the trade, and send him back in the line, right? And then we get to see Paddy really be a contender and fight some guys who are also coming up, and prove his worth and spot. But I hate this, guys. I think this is so dumb because it takes away any amount of merit in the rankings that the UFC have created. And it just sets a precedent of like, which is something the UFC's already been open about. If you guys ever heard that interview that Sean Brady did with Ariel Helwani, Sean Brady quoted Hunter Campbell and Dana White in saying like the rankings don't matter, which I find fucking insane. It's like, why do you fuckers have rankings if you're not going to follow the rankings in terms of how you book your next fight? Because guess what? It's entertainment too. Well, guess what? I do think that Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje is going to be an absolutely fun banger of a fight. Like it is primed for fireworks. Okay, like these are two guys that are not going to go out there and just have a shit fight, in my opinion. We've been proven wrong. Khamzat, Dricus. Like, we've been proven wrong. But stylistically, this is a huge fight. I don't understand how, like, why even go this route? Why does it have to be 155? Because now it makes zero sense to me. Like, instead of that, why don't you have Pereira go up against Olberg and defend the light heavyweight belt? Why not do that? Because then that is perfect timing for Pereira. Should Pereira win or lose, Pereira can then still gun for a matchup against John Jones, get him in there. And that's a belt that's on the line. Like, I don't even understand why lightweight is the weight class to do this. But even then, I think Khamzat's got a surgery. Fine. Why not do like, I don't even know. Like, I honestly, I guess there's not a lot of options for the UFC. But, and you know what, guys? This is so horrible for Arman Tsarukyan because Arman just won. Now Arman's got to see who wins this fight. He's then got to wait probably 6 months. I bet Ilya doesn't make it back. I see Ilya coming back for the White House card. That's my opinion. Could be wrong. Maybe he comes back in April, but I see Ilya getting put on the White House card, right? Ilya will go in and fight the interim belt holder on the White House card, which is in fucking end of June, which means if Arman's just banking on like, hey, I got number one spot, I'm holding here until that matchup comes forward where he can fight for the belt, that puts Arman out for 6 months minimum. And we're talking he's waiting to see, let's just say it's Ilya versus Paddy. He's waiting to see who wins that. Let's just say, Ilya gets it done. Now what? Is Ilya going to fight once a year? Is he going to fight once in 2026? He fought one time in 2025. So if Ilya decides to fight once in 2026, Arman Tsarukyan's not even getting a title shot until 2027. So now this guy who is one of the best in this division, I don't think he's better than Ilya, to be honest with you guys. He could be. It's one of those things where I think we have to see it first. I just think I've seen a better strength of schedule from Ilya and like more dominance. I mean, to knock out Volk and then knock out Max Holloway, and then knock out Charles Oliveira, who took Arman to a fucking split decision. I know you can play MMA math all you want, but it's like danger-wise and skill-wise. I think Ilya has already proven that, but I think we have to see a fight between them. That's why Arman is the solidified number one contender. And now we're talking about Arman losing basically 2 years potentially of his prime to bullshit. Now, I think Arman could have acted a lot better in every occasion where he's had shit happen, but for Paddy to get this type of shot over Arman is fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts. So I'm going to end it there. You guys know where I stand on this. I think it's complete bullshit. And it's just disgusting. Like, why is the UFC doing this? Regardless of that, one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, I have two of them. You got Volk and Diego Lopez. Two of my favorite fighters. Am I happy for Diego? Sure, I am. I love Diego. I literally am one of Diego's biggest fanboys. Like, Diego's been one of my favorite fighters. And I do think Diego getting a big win over Gene Silva warrants him a space to argue for a title shot. Now, when you consider that the UFC has apparently promised Lerone Murphy a title shot if he took that fight against Pico on short notice, who he goes out there and spinning elbow KOs, probably a KO of the year contender, on short notice, 2 weeks short notice, coming from fucking London and Chicago. and he's not getting an opportunity when he's undefeated. And even if you want to talk about his resume and it being a bit boring, he's got wins over some of the best guys we've seen in featherweight. No shot for him. And then on top of that, Movsar Evloev, undefeated, has beaten every opposition. He's even beaten fucking Diego. No shot for him. It's fucking insane to me. It's fucking insane. And honestly, it's bullshit too, because although I love Diego and want to see him be champ, this was a perfect opportunity to give Volk Movsar Evloev, who, by all accounts, isn't really posing any danger of finishing Volk in a fight, just based off of history, right? That is the best matchup for Volk to potentially go off into the sunset with a win, maybe, and retire. But now the UFC is giving basically Diego, who has the opportunity and chance to potentially flatline KO Volk in his fucking hometown. I can't even understand that matchmaking. And I know Volk is just a dog. He's going to take any fight that's thrown to him. So I think that this is just, at this point, the UFC needs to just stop doing rankings. If this is the way it's going to be, why are we going to rank the fighters? Because it means fucking nothing. As a fan, I go and look and I make these fucking videos about rankings as a fan and creator. And for what? For the UFC to drop a fucking bomb on Thanksgiving that, hey, although numbers should tell you one thing, we're just going to go the fucking opposite and make this fight happen. Which, like I said, guys, in the grand scheme of things, are these fights deserved? No. But are these fights fun? Yes. Every one of these fights, Diego versus Volk was amazing the first time. It's going to be a great time the second time. And I think Paddy versus Justin's going to be fireworks. I just hate the fact that these guys, and Justin Gaethje's done a lot for the UFC. I think that he has earned his right to stand his ground a bit, but at the same time, I don't like it because it's Arman is the true number one contender. It's the same thing as John Jones fighting Stipe. We all knew Tom Aspinall is the number one guy, not fucking Stipe. And so what ends up happening here is if Paddy wins, you've padded him from start to finish to even getting the opportunity. He's got one fucking ranked win. And if he beats Gaethje, that's a big win for him. But there's an asterisk. Gaethje has been in how many wars and is how old now? Instead of giving Paddy a chance to really prove himself, now you're going to have every fan under the sun be like, yeah, but it's Gaethje who is 37. Is that really that great? And then it's also you won a belt off of fucking one fight, one ranked contender. And Paddy's already got shit on his record, dude. He's got the Jared Gordon win, which was bullshit. There's just a bunch of shit there. It's the UFC has speed run Paddy through bullshit and got him to this point. And even if Paddy wins it, he then has to go and solidify it. And I think that they could be setting him up for failure because then now it's when Paddy finally gets, if Paddy does beat Gaethje, which let's hope Gaethje wins because that would just really throw a wrench in a lot of things. But if Paddy wins, you've now built Paddy up to this point as this killer, this great fighter, right? Which he is a great fighter, but we've seen him in there against guys where he just has significant advantages. I mean, he beat Bobby Green, bigger than Bobby Green. Bobby Green's older. He beat Tony Ferguson, older. 0-8. 0-8. Tony Ferguson. Maybe he was 0-7 at that time. Okay, so he beats Tony Ferguson. Fine. Beats Michael Chandler, who, had some success in the UFC, but really not that much. I mean, he's got, 2 wins in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken. 38 years old, too. So now you're going to take Paddy off of those wins, and then if he beats Gaethje, a 36 or 37-year-old Gaethje, you're going to put him in there with a 30-year-old Topuria, who, by all facets of the game, is much better than Paddy. If you have eyes, he's better than Paddy. What is that going to do for Paddy? You're just setting him up to fail. But regardless, dude, I understand Paddy taking the opportunity, deserves to take the opportunity if it's given to him, but it is just nuts to me that the UFC has gone this route. And I can end it here, guys. I never want to hear Dana White, and I'm going to have to hear it. So I say I never want to, but I'm going to have to. I never want to hear Dana White say again, the best fight the best in this business, because it's not fucking true. He's completely gone left from that approach. And what we're seeing now is a circus, a entertainment type thing where it has nothing to do with merits of wins and work done. It's just all about who is going to bring the most numbers. And it could be a dark time for us as fans, especially hardcore fans of the UFC, who want to see even the boring guys get the best shot. And I will say, like Movsar, I would rather watch a Diego Lopez fight than Movsar. I'll admit that handedly. But I would also like to see Movsar get a shot because he hasn't gotten a shot. He deserves it. And I think it's a better matchup for Volk. But I'm going to end it there, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of creators have already kind of dropped their thoughts on this, but make sure to comment below, give this video a like, and please subscribe to Fight Feed if you haven't already so you can stay on top of all the new content that I'll be posting. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.